I'm going to create some 3D MoText. I'm going to apply an effector to it and some fields to demonstrate how easy it is to make some great little animations just using some really simple functions. So I'm going to start by making my MoText. So here in Cinema 4D, I'm using version 21. I'm going to go to my MoGraph menu and just create some MoText. So in this MoText object, I can come over to my attributes for it. In the Object tab, I'm going to rename my MoText, and I want a nice, really thick, solid-looking font for this. So I'm going to have a look through my fonts here, find something that's a little more bold and a bit more solid, and I will not use that one. Here's something really chunky. This is sort of a 2000s MoGraph style font. I'll use this one. So what we can do here is we can look at our options here. So we've got depth under our options tab, so that's how deep, how far back in Z space our text goes. Now this is a really big blocky font, it's really solid, so I'm going to give it a reasonable amount of depth. Let's set mine on about 200. Okay, now if I want to as well, I can change the alignment of my text. At the moment, it's aligned on its left-hand side to the origin. I can center it if I want to, or I can align it to the right. I can change the overall spacing of the text, and for some typefaces you might want to use the actual kerning function, which gives you individual control over the spacing between different characters in your text. I'm just going to undo that. Mine's happy. I'm happy with mine as it was. So there's my 3D text, my 3D MoText. That's fine. Now it is big and blocky and chunky, but I'd quite like to add a little more detail to the surface of this. What will happen if I add some more surface detail is that when I animate it with a light source, the light will pick up on these edges. I'll get little highlights, and that can really help to give your 3D objects a bit of polish. It can make them look, it will make them a little easier to read on screen. So let's see how we can do that. We can go into the caps section of our text. We can choose whether we want a start cap or an end cap. If we turn them both off, then we've got hollow text that we can see through. That could be useful for something. I'm going to have both caps on, but what I want is I want to have some kind of surface detailing on the front, but I want to keep it flat on the back. So let's have a look at how we do that. So the start cap, let's have a look in here. What we're going to do is we're going to bevel this text, and what I want to do is have separate bevel controls. So I'm going to turn that on, and now we can see we've got a start bevel and an end bevel. So that's talking about the front and the back of our text. Now I want a large kind of stepped blocky bevel, so the bevel shape, I'm going to change mine to stepped. I'm going to extend it outwards, and now we can see here's the surface detail, this bevel starting to appear. And in here you can play around with how many segments this bevel has, and obviously how far out it comes. I just want a bit of a bevel on there, and I want something quite chunky, so I'm going to keep my step count down to something like that. I've got 2 steps on there, 2 steps on the bevel, and it's just sort of keeping with that really thick, chunky look of this typeface. Now if I look over the back, I want to keep that flat. That's going to be around the back of my text, so I'm happy with this.